Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Arvind here again, and today I'm in Mumbai and I have the great privilege and honor of talking to Mr. Abhinav Sinha, who is one of the co-founders of Guddu.
That's right.
And also he's one of the core members of GoodDot. So first of all, thank you so much. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for giving your time to come and speak with us.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Very excited.
So I must say, first of all, in my opinion, before we begin the interview, like when it comes to all these mock meats in India, now I've interviewed various CEOs from various different plant-based companies across India, be it from dairy alternatives to meat alternatives, and I hope I don't offend or hurt anybody by saying this, but I personally believe that Guddu is like the paragon of this movement. Like, you guys started it. Okay, I can see that we have great options from other companies right now, but you guys are the ones who started it, and even till right now, like, the quality of Guddu is there. It's always something innovative coming out. Guddu is something that's always in our kitchen cabinet, I'll say.
Just a correction.
Yeah.
It is GoodDot.
GoodDot.
GoodDot is the
right,
product.
right,
Guddu is
right.
the restaurant.
Yeah. So I would say, like, we're such big fans of GoodDot. Always there are some GoodDot products found in our kitchen cabinet. And in fact, my meeting with GoodDot was like, I saw online in 2018, everyone in the vegan community was posting online on Facebook, all this feed, like GoodDot, try their mock. And I was like, yeah, sounds interesting. Mm-hmm. So I was at my friend's house in Mumbai. And then he was like, we're chilling, and he was like, dude, have you tried this achari tikka masala from them? And I was like, no, man, is it good? He was like, yeah. He took it, put it in the air fryer. And then I don't know if this is safe or not, we kind of roasted it also on the open flame.
Sure, yeah.
And then I ate it, and it was like love at first bite. And ever since then, 2018, I think the month of May or something, till today, you're talking right now to not just a vegan or an animal rights activist, an avid fan of the entire company of GoodDot and Guddu, and like someone who's a passionate customer. So all of my questions are going to be framed from that perspective. So
wonderful. That's really sweet of you. So glad to know that you love our product, and that's our basic effort.
Yeah, it's
the best.
I must say,
we can.
The taste, first of all, is flawless, and the pricing is very, very, very reasonable.
Sure.
Extremely reasonable. So I have to applaud you guys for that. So
thank you so much.
My first question would be, when was the inception of GoodDot, and how exactly did this idea to make a mock meat company, even come from? Like,
so the seeds of GoodDot were sown very, very early, much earlier than most people would imagine possible. So it started with my brother Abhishek, who was an avid animal lover. Took care of animals all his entire life. Street animals, feeding them, cats, dogs, taking them to the hospital and things like that. But we came from a meat-eating family.
Okay.
So we loved, as a community, we loved non-veg. As a family, we didn't have it every day, but weekends were like, you have to have your chicken or a mutton.
And doing celebrations always.
Celebrations, yes, right. So there was, so him more so, but I always had an ethical qualm about eating non-veg.
Okay.
Yeah. So we would love our chicken and mutton and fish, but then we'd feel bad that someone had to die for that taste. But the draw of the taste was very strong.
Right.
So this was. So every now and then we would give up meat for some time, even as children.
Okay.
And then slowly come back to it because the draw was very strong. Now, around 2005, 2006, Abhishek came across a research paper out of the Maastricht University in Netherlands, which talked about tissue cultured meat and the Dutch government having funded research into tissue cultured meat.
Right.
So he's a chemical engineer. That time he was also preparing for civil services, and I was a biotechnologist. So we discussed, and like, okay, is this doable? Does this seem reasonable? I said, we looked into it. Seemed reasonable enough that you take a piece of tissue from an animal and then you grow up in a bioreactor and like beer or whatever, you're growing it in a reactor. Right. But then we realized that it was a difficult task technically. We didn't know whether something could be made, whether the society was ready, whether there was a market, how much money it would take, etc., etc. So we came from typical middle class family, didn't have massive amounts of money lying around. So we had to first, get ourselves on our own 2 feet, and so we moved in our own respective lives. He went and joined the civil services. He became deputy commissioner in income tax.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. So which
this was in 2010 something like that.
Around 2000, I think 8 or so. He got into the civil services. Yeah. And I had gone to the US for my PhD in protein chemistry in 2004.
Wow. Okay.
But he actively kept in touch with this field, and he was always doing his taking care of animals. And around 2012 I came back, and again in 2013 onwards he started talking about, okay, we should do about animal cruelty, there are options, what can be done. The first thought was, let's do this. Can we, those were the early days of plant-based meat globally. So there were, I think Beyond has just started, doing their trials, and Corn had come out, etc. Fries was another company. So we said, can we in-license some of these technologies maybe?
Okay.
And because of different reasons, we evaluated those possibilities because of commercial reasons, because of product fitment reasons, etc. Those things didn't pan out. Then he was like, okay, then we need to do it ourselves. Of course, we didn't know whether we can create anything. So around 2013, those discussions started, and in around 14-15 onwards, active work started happening. We got all the global products. We tried them against, did a matrix analysis of, let's say, looking at different global products in different cuisines. How did they pan out? And we realized there were key gaps in that field. There were, most of the global products were based on mince meat, right? Because the US and UK market, they have those patties and the sausages and so on. While the Indian market deals with chunks of meat primarily.
Right.
So we said that's a concern, and you could not make a curry. They would just have their dry patties.
True.
We like our curries.
True.
So of course those products didn't suit for Indian curries.
needs, yeah.
So we said, all right, this is the kind of category that we could create and try to create the kind of products. So lab scale studies started in around 15, and then we realized in 2016 we formed the company, thinking that okay, something could be done. Deepak, a very close friend of ours, joined. He was doing very well as a CFO of Mirage, a large FMCG company.
Okay.
Abhishek, Technic, of course, was doing very well as a Deputy Commissioner Income Tax. I was in the on the tech side. I was in the pharma industry doing R&D. And my sister Shruti, she is a restaurateur, hotelier who had award-winning restaurants of her own, worked with the top hotel chains. So she brought in the culinary aspect.
So the whole family came together for this. Family business, you could say. Yeah, but that's...
it's funny.
No, but each one is incredibly talented in their own fields. They brought everything to the table to create this.
Absolutely. I think it's, we feel something we say, we don't know, of course, if it's true or not. We feel that, our purpose has always been about helping reduce animal cruelty, not by preaching, not by telling people don't eat meat, that lots of people are doing. But sadly, that has had a limited impact because the draw of meat is so strong.
Agreed.
So we thought the only way to do it is to create alternatives that worked. And in this, to be honest, our parents played a very important role. When we were children, they had told, I remember my mom, who sadly, we lost her to cancer earlier this year. When we were children, she would say that, I'll use a Hindi phrase, and she'd say, "Apna to kutta bhi dekh leta hai," meaning even a dog takes care of its own. So do something beyond. Of course, nothing against dog. It was a very simple. We love dogs, we love animals, and we know they have a lot of humanity and sort of love and passion, compassion with them. But the impression was that do something beyond yourself. Right. Do something for the society. Right. So that I think stayed with us at a significant level.
Okay, my next question would be, please share with us the story of Guddu the goat and how that helped inspire GoodDot.
That's a lovely question. So, GoodDot was formed officially in 2016. And in 2017, we went into commercial production. Our first products came out in around September 2017 commercially. So during the pilot stages of the factory operations, this was around June or July 2017, Abhishek, so we are headquartered in Udaipur, Rajasthan. And Abhishek was going to the factory, which is outskirts of the city. And he actually came across a meat shop. He kept on the highway, but something inside him stirred. He turned around, came back to that meat shop. And he bought all the animals in that meat shop, all the chickens, and there was this one goat. And he didn't know what he'd do, but he was like, no, I need to
I can't let them die.
I can't let them die. And he picked them up, and we brought them to the factory and set up a small little enclosure, more like an open space for them to live. And so this is a space right outside our factory. And the guys in the factory slowly over time took a lot of love and attachment to the goat. And as a term of endearment, they'd have lots of names for this.
Right, right.
They'd call him Pappu, Pyaru, Guddu, and the name Guddu stuck.
Right.
And about, this is, June, July, this is actually on Ramzan Day in 2017. So about 5-6 months after that, we were thinking that, we need to, we were already in the market. We said we need to create awareness, at least in Udaipur, about what is this product about. What do people, when we tell people we are making plant-based meat, they don't even know what it is.
Right, right.
So we said, let's take create an experience center, right, where we tell people, okay, this is the product you can have. It looks and tastes like meat, but it's completely plant-based.
Right.
So we thought of a food truck. And when it came to, naming it, lots of ideas flew around. And then the thought stuck that, look, God, universe, nature, energy, whatever it is, has through us saved this, lovely creature, lovely goat. And let us now give him a chance to save his fellow animals. So we said, all right, this goat, Guddu, will be our mascot. And Guddu will be the name of this thing. So that's how Guddu, and of course we are GoodDot. If you remove T, GoodDot becomes Guddu, right. And that is how it was formed.
Is Mr. Guddu the goat still?
Oh yeah, he's a big honking goat. When he stands up, he's like over 6 feet tall. He is in Udaipur. If you're in Udaipur, you should go and say hi to him. So he lives, by the way, with his friend Sheru, a dog. Yeah. So, and by the way, this food truck that I told you about, named after Guddu, that actually was rated in 2020 as the world's second best vegan food truck by Lonely Planet International.
Nice, nice.
We did not send any information. They did not reach out for any information. So their people came, they did their surveys, and suddenly we see that we are on a global list.
Well, congratulations. I am not doubting one bit of what they're saying. I'm sure it must be amazing.
Sure, thanks.
Who's number one?
It was a place in
Israel?
No. It was somewhere in the northeast coast of US.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember. Maybe Boston or something.
Maybe. But the fact that we have now in our country, in India, getting the second best vegan food truck award is something we should, all vegans in India should be proud of. Definitely.
For sure.
Definitely. So my next question would be, what is your mission statement with GoodDot? Apart from being a business, what does your company aim to do?
So we like to say the soul of GoodDot is with the animals.
Okay.
And it belongs to the animals. And our mission is very simply to help reduce and hopefully eliminate animal cruelty by providing alternatives to animal meat that work in terms of taste, texture, price, quality, convenience, nutrition. Very simply, there's nothing else, nothing more.
And I will say they have nailed every single one of those points. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Definitely.
So
no, I'm not exaggerating at all. Yeah.
So, and in terms of volumes, we aspire to become the largest plant-based meat company in the world.
Amazing. Awesome. So my next question would be, what are your top 3 favorite foods to eat at the Guddu stalls, and also top 3 favorite GoodDot products that one can buy at stores? You tell your top 3 in each, and I'll tell my top 3.
Wonderful.
Okay.
So with GoodDot, my top 3 products are, we've launched a product called the unmutton keema. Very, very good. It's a kit.
Yep.
Yeah. Very convenient. So I can feel like a chef. Right?
Yes. With the little miniature measuring cup. How many have we bought? How many unmutton keemas have we consumed? I do not know. Okay.
I'm glad to know. So it actually comes really close, right? It's fantastic.
Fresh spices inside in those packets, sachets you can use. It comes with the oil, the instructions written. Wonderful. But yes, go on. Yes, I'm sorry.
The second one is a very recent launch called the unmutton dhaba curry.
Okay.
It is again, it's a kit where the keema, you got minced meat. Here you have chunks of meat in a can. Of course, plant-based meat. And this dhaba curry is absolutely out of the world. So we did a trial with the Ministry of Food Processing at an event in Delhi about 3 months ago. And there's a very senior chef from, I think he was from the ITC group or Marriott, maybe Marriott.
Okay.
He tried it, and just the quality of the gravy itself, he was like, this is so sophisticated and nuanced. Maybe I could keep 2 of my top chefs on it for a couple of weeks. I'm not sure whether we'll be able to get something like this.
Damn,
So culinarily, it's a phenomenal product, of course, and it happens to be plant-based.
Amazing.
What we like to see is that our products happen to be plant-based. So that they should be great product in themselves. And the plant-based should be like, all right, it's there.
It so happens to be, exactly. I agree. Wonderful.
Right.
Okay.
And the third is our nuggets,
Okay.
veggie, which we call it surf. So most of our products are ambient stable. That's the uniqueness, USP for GoodDot, right? Because they are shelf stable. You can keep it. A supermarket can keep it on their dry shelves.
Right,
It does not
right,
require
right.
refrigeration.
Right.
Cold chain. The sustainability footprint, carbon footprint is very low.
Right, right.
One of our products, which is one of the two products which is frozen, which we call the Veggie Nuggets. I think it's a phenomenal. So I'm a sucker for junk food.
Okay.
And so this fried nugget is sensational.
I think we have not personally tried the dhaba curry or the nuggets because I think in Chennai those products still are not yet.
Dhaba curry should be available now. I mean,
We
of
buy
course,
it on
Amazon
Instamart and Big
Instamart
Basket.
has not yet
Okay,
had it,
okay.
But through other means you can still get it. Of course, our website GoodDot.in.
But we're always
Amazon.
so happy. The moment we open Instamart or Big Basket, we type vegan and we see like a vegan product, GoodDot, we're like, oh my God, it exists. Like we actually typed the word vegan in India because I have been vegan since 2014. And when I first went vegan, I don't think there were hardly even any vegans,
Of course.
human beings who were vegans in India. So
Definitely,
very
totally
little in number. So now that we have come so much forward and we go to these big shopping malls, we go into like Big Bazaar or Spar as these outlets, and we see on the shelves with Neeraj Chopra's picture, all this stuff, and we're like, yo, dude, like this is insane. Like we are moving forward. It makes us feel so good. So our favorite three products, I would say, we buy at home are definitely first, number one, unmutton keema.
Sure.
Excellent. Like, and we make our own parathas or roti at home with that side dish. Like,
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. That's the word.
Awesome.
Second thing is we always buy a lot of the instant biryani. We tend to like it has the small chunks in it with the rice. Put it in the pressure cooker. It's like instant food. Pour some water and it's just their biryani. We love that.
Right.
And the last thing, I don't know if it's still available. It is the achari tikka masala. Is it still on the market?
I think it's off the market because I think we had other products that came in and sort of took its place, and then our focus was on a different category.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe one day it could come back.
It could come back.
It could come back because trust me,
we've not lost the skills.
Yeah, because the achari tikka masala, when you roast it on an open flame and you consume it, I always say this, like when I eat Guddu foods, the brain is literally confused. That's the best way. It is like, wait, isn't this meat? It's not meat. Like my brain doesn't know what to perceive of it. It is just phenomenal, like unbelievable. So yeah, these three are my top favorite GoodDot products. Now, Guddu stall, what do you like the most? Top three.
One other thing that I'll tell you about GoodDot, this has not got nothing to do with mock meat or plant-based meat. We have a noodle, an instant noodle.
Soups.
Just a noodle packet.
Okay.
Yeah, so like a typical instant noodle packet.
Right.
There's no plant-based meat component here. But it has, almost like 10 grams of protein and 5.5 grams of fiber or something. Okay. So it's actually healthy.
Healthier.
And unlike a lot of healthy noodles, which, you're like, okay, the taste doesn't quite cut it. This actually tastes phenomenal. If you've not tried it, you should try it. It's got nothing to do with plant-based.
We should.
As a meat alternative. And we've sold close to 1.52 crore units of it in the past year and a half.
No, I'm very glad to hear. I mean, like if we can push for these noodles, like again, like I told, like we want the vegan products. Like if people are choosing to buy whatever kind of instant noodles right now that have chicken flavor or whatever, you could just opt to buy this instead. Like the options are there. It all comes down for you right now just to choose this option.
Choose those options.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. Instant noodles. Okay.
Super. With Guddu.
Yes.
So Guddu's my again top three dishes would be, we have our what we call vegan butter chicken. Of course, it's butter chicken without butter or chicken.
Oh, I have tried that with parota.
With Malabar paratha. It's sensational, absolutely sensational. I'm a big fan. The second thing I love is we have a loaded keema pav. Like a keema pav, what you alluded to or mentioned earlier is we are very actively trying to take our products and make it accessible to everyone. Right. So stuff that is, affordable by everyone. So like a keema pav, we sell at I think 39 or 49 rupees.
I know, yes.
Literally, so and people, when you think about vegan, people think, acha, that means, it's going to be expensive.
Yes, 400, 500 rupees, yeah.
And the other thing, they think, it's going to be boring soups and salads.
Yes.
Right? I love soups and salad, but lots of people find it boring, right? So that's other thing that we are trying to address, that it can be a regular food that we have, which normally, let's say, would have a meat or a dairy component, and you can make it without it and still have lots of fun and have it be healthier and other things for you. Okay. So you got the keema pav, you got the butter chicken. The third thing I really enjoy is our, there's something called a chettinad sukka. So I did my engineering in Chennai, And
Chettinad is Tamil food.
yeah,
Sukka
yeah.
in Hindi, I believe means dry, right?
Dry, yeah.
Yeah.
So sukka is it's unmutton chettinad sukka. It's a dry unmutton pieces with coconut, dry coconut shavings and spices from the Chettinad region of Tamil Nadu. Phenomenal, goes in a roll or with paratha, either ways. Yeah, sinful.
We'll be trying that tomorrow very
Absolutely.
soon. Yeah. So for me, I would say the first number one, the best food I've eaten since I've gone vegan is at the Guddu stall is the fried crispies.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know what it is you guys put in that or how you make it, but as a guy, as a non-vegan, I used to eat absurd amounts of fried chicken.
Sure.
Okay, but and I realized the ethical wrongdoings I was doing. I was like, it doesn't matter how good it tastes or whatever, I'm going to stop. But I've never managed that whole is still there. Like, I still like it. I'm a vegan.
Sure.
I'll never
Yeah.
harm a chicken again. But I love fried chicken. I'm going to be
Agreed.
very honest
Same
with
here,
that.
same here.
But when I
Agreed.
first bit into that, it happened in 2019 here in, I think, in Bandstand that you had, I guess, at a,
Yeah.
that one, a cafe.
Carter,
That's,
yeah.
So I went up to the employee and I was like, are you sure this is a vegan eatery? And she was like, yes, sir. And I was like, are you absolutely? She's like, yes. And I put some more ketchup and I bite into it. And the brain pulls out all the memories, of the previous
actually.
one. And it's one.
Sure.
I cannot tell. I challenge any meat eater watching this. Try the fried crispies, and then I dare you to say that vegan food is bland or boring. Like,
Sure.
out of this world. And then you have the butter chicken with the paratha. My good lord! Again, like I make such faces. It's if I can say this, it's like having a multiple orgasm. It's insane. You bite into it, and then your eyes close, and you're like, just so
Right.
good.
Yeah,
Like
it's phenomenal.
Fried crispies, butter chicken, and at the Guddu stall. So I guess since I came in 2019, I was just loading up on fried crispies like
Sure.
constantly, non-stop.
Sure.
But
Sure.
apart from that, what else would I? Hey guys, welcome back. Apparently there was a small issue, so we had to change the shooting location. Anyways, we're back. I was back then telling what my third most favorite GoodDot product, Guddu stall product was, and again, being a sucker for the fried crispies, I'll say, do you guys still have the Gerber? It's the
The burger.
but that's basically fried crispies in burger. So that's my third favorite. Basically, I'm a sucker for fried crispies. Yeah, that's what.
By the way, that burger with the fried crispies in it was rated amongst Asia's 40 top burgers.
Yeah, believable, very believable.
So yeah, that's interesting. And so there are times that we were in Chennai for about a year and a half for my mom's treatment, where we didn't really have access to Guddu, and we ourselves had withdrawal things. Oh my God, I'm not able to have my fried
Dicks,
crispy on. so it's a personal sort of
Guilty pleasure.
Guilty pleasure, and I guess pleasure in itself. That
Oh yeah.
when you just replace meat, and then your body craves it.
It's incredible how through modern science we're actually able to create products that smell, look, taste, and have the same texture of meat without coming. It's insane how we can do this. If you had told us like 50 years ago, they'll think that you're some alchemist, some wizard from Harry Potter. But I don't know what you guys are doing, but it's fried crispies. Keep that in mind. Fried crispies, Guddu. Okay, go to either Udaipur or Mumbai. Where else are you guys at?
Yeah, in Nepal right now, Kathmandu.
Okay, for the Indians watching, Mumbai, if you come to Mumbai, have to eat the fried crispies. Note that. Okay. My next question is kind of a controversial one. Do you get backlash from people in the vegan community or vegetarian community who say, why call your product as chicken or mutton? We must not even use those names. And if yes, how do you respond to such comments and criticisms?
Yeah, a great question. It's very common, to be honest, and I'm sure you've experienced it yourself. So we have lots of well-meaning customers, friends, guests, patrons who come in and say, "Oh, you've got a veg chicken nugget or an unmutton keema. We are not quite comfortable, eating those products because of that name." Now, our response to that is very clear. That see, we understand first of all where you're coming from. We ourselves have family members who would not be comfortable with those kind of names. The conservative vegetarians amongst us.
Right.
So we understand that sentiment. But our purpose and mission is very clearly to help reduce animal cruelty, right? By providing alternatives that work. And that shows in our data also that majority of our customers are actually non-vegetarians. There could be non-vegetarians who are actively looking to reduce meat, or non-vegetarians who cannot have meat on a particular religious day, or non-vegetarians looking to reduce meat because of health or environment concern, or even animal ethics issues. People who were erstwhile me who had ethical qualms about it.
Right.
So it is meant for that. So hence we have to give these names so that we can draw that customer that meets our mission. Now, not to say that vegetarians and vegans are not our customers. Of course, a significant percentage, even though not majority, but a significant percentages are. And for them, we have regular vegetarian dishes also. Correct. So we have let's say a vegetarian spring roll or a veg momo or a veg biryani, etc. So those things are options for you. But this is what our mission is, and we are known for creating these alternatives to meat. So how do we communicate to the customer that it's an alternative to meat?
Right.
So you have to give a name or some way of describing it that it is that.
Right. I think it's important for people watching to understand that, first of all, no one is compelling you to consume these things. We're not saying this is targeted solely for vegans or vegetarians. Like you said, we're encouraging people to harm less animals.
Correct.
That's the whole point. So I think it's important we keep, nothing wrong in you having that opinion, but it's important that we keep our egos out of this, because something far more important is at play is going on here. So
absolutely. There are billions of animals that are dying every day. And thankfully, at GoodDot, we are able to sell over 40,000 packs a day of our products, and that saves a certain large number of animals. We are very sort of humbled that we are able to do it, but of course, we are not even beginning to scratch the surface, right? So a lot more needs to be done, and ultimately, see, what we are trying to say is we are giving you food that is tasty, that is convenient, that is affordable, right? So it's food at the end of it.
Right.
You have to consume it as such, and for some people things will not work.
Right.
For my own mother-in-law, for example, she's a Tamilian Brahmin. She, for first 2 years of our existence, never could try any of our products because she would not be comfortable with the word biryani. She would not be comfortable with the word tikka, right? In her mind, it has a very different connotation.
Right.
And for us, but after about a year ago, we were in Chennai then, and she actually calls me up and says, Abhinav, by the way, I tried the biryani, it was really good. For me, it was like a huge moment, right? That my, conservative, vegetarian,
they're opening up to the idea.
Yeah.
That's nice to hear. Like you said, 40,000 packets a day.
Right.
That does make a difference in this world for these innocent animals, and it's so heartening to hear that. Again, I keep saying this, but to hear that in my country, for me, that matters. It is great to hear the vegan movement in the West, but I was like, where are they in India? Where are our people doing this? And now it's so happy to hear that GoodDot and other companies do exist, and we are, like I said, not making a scratch yet, but we are going to eventually. We are not going to give up soon.
It's inevitable, yeah.
So, what challenges do you face as a vegan meat alternative company that, say, a conventional poultry farmer would not face?
That a conventional meat company
would not face,
I think the biggest sort of trouble or pain point is awareness. Awareness about the category, awareness about the brand, awareness about the product, all three. Because most people don't even know that there's something called a meat alternative. In India, the primary, when you think of meat alternative, people have in their mind soy chunks, right? And so that when you say your meat alternative, the first question is, acha, is that soy chunk kind of thing? Right? So of course, see, you have to think about, if you think about the history of meat alternatives, it started off centuries ago.
Right.
In Southeast Asia, when the kings there turned it towards Buddhism and became vegetarians, and they wanted the feel of meat and the bite of meat, and started with their chefs coming up with seitan, tofu, tempeh, and those kind of things, right? Wheat gluten based things and soy curd based things. And our soy chunks, the dry soy chunks are let's say a 20th century version of movement on that with the extrusion technology. What we are doing is like 2 generations beyond that.
Right.
So the awareness is probably one of the biggest things. And the other aspect is people thinking that it's going to be very expensive, right? There's a mental block that is going to be very expensive, not realizing that it can actually be quite affordable and in some case cheaper than actual chicken or mutton. And that's where our focus lies as GoodDot and Guddu.
I'm quite curious, like apart from awareness, but let's say if a conventional, like I am a poultry farmer or something, like I get subsidies from the government, and if you were to procure your raw material, say from pea protein or soy or whatever it is that you use, oils, don't you feel like there are no subsidies for you and you're like paying more tax and stuff? Like
correct. Yeah, the GST levels are quite high on our products. They're like 18%, which is the highest tax bracket. That really makes it. See, as a society, we have to realize that we cannot continue to consume the kind of increasing amounts of meat and animal protein that we are doing. Right? US, for example, today an average person consumes about 100 to 120 kilograms of meat a year. In China, which used to be at 20 kilograms about 15 years earlier, now it's about 55 to 60 kilograms per person per year. India, we are still much lower, but the average has gone up from around 3.5 to about 5.5 kilograms per person per year. Correct? Now, we know that animal meat production requires a lot more land, water, grains, right? Produces a lot more CO2.
Yes.
So it is just not sustainable given the world status of the world climate change.
Right.
And that has to be addressed. So plant-based meats have to be an important part of that story about sustainability as well. Correct. Now, if India starts consuming 20-30 kilograms of meat per person, which is with higher income, the demand for protein increases in societies. And if it happens to be animal protein, we will be destroying our own ecosystems, we will be destroying our own, and it will just not be sustainable. So we have to have these options, and the government then needs to support that. Right. It is not at the cost of the poultry farmers, and those we can figure out systems where they can be part of the value chain. Right. You can help them convert. You can have their warehouses. Instead of now, having chicken and growing chicken, there can be warehouses and factories for plant-based meats.
Exactly.
So we have to, as an ecosystem, nobody is trying to get, throw people out of their job and business because people need to live and make a livelihood. And things change, right? I mean, people could have said the same thing 100 years ago. Oh, if you're going to bring in cars, what will happen to the horses who are drawing the carriages? Right? So, I mean, society evolves and, and people adjust to it. We just have to move to a more efficient system.
Fair enough. So next question is, have you seen through your years of experience people opening up to the concept of permanently switching out their meat consumption and opting to consume only plant-based alternatives like GoodDot?
Quite often, surprisingly often.
Completely,
yes.
Completely removed. That's incredible.
Yeah, definitely. In fact, there are people in our own families, not even immediate family, in the extended family who've turned completely vegan. And they seek out these alternatives because many of at the base of it, we human beings are kind creatures, right? Kindness is in our DNA. Empathy and compassion is in our DNA. So there's a reason why you have so many, I'm sure you have come across that, people who say, oh, I love my chicken, but I cannot see a chicken getting killed.
Yes, so many.
Right?
So many, yes.
Right? That means that you have that, the compassion is still at your core, and you want to disconnect the food system from your consumption behavior.
Very well put, yes.
Right? And I think I may be quoting it wrongly, maybe it was G.B. Shaw or someone else who said, if slaughterhouses had glass walls, there won't be any non-vegetarians left.
True.
Right? So that is the basic thing. So people do want to change. And they have in it to change. We have to create awareness about this category. We have to create awareness about the interchangeability, right, of meat with animal meat. People have issues about, will I get my protein, will I get my fiber, will I get my other things, right? So that's another awareness. And then the final thing, of course, about the price.
Right.
How much will it cost me out of my pocket?
Right.
So if you address those questions, people are willing to try, and they try initially with skepticism. So I'll tell you, when lots of people come to Guddu outlets or try GoodDot products with a lot of skepticism, and you'll see lots of these videos that we put up on social media.
Many have seen, yes.
Right? But then when they had that first bite, their eyes become big. Like, what? Really? So we love seeing that experience, and some of them leads to people reducing meat consumption, some of them leads to people completely converting.
That's
and
awesome.
The more these alternatives become mainstream, the prices come down, the availability increases, this is only going to increase.
Awesome to hear. So the next one's also maybe can be considered kind of a controversial question.
Yeah.
The meat industry surely isn't going to keep quiet in the future, and probably isn't even keeping quiet right now, seeing how you guys and many other companies are coming up with vegan alternatives. What kind of struggles do you guys expect to face, and what are you taking as preemptive measures for that? For example, like in the West, or even right now in India, in the dairy industry, not naming the company's name, we know there are some out there that are just trying to cause trouble. You can't use the word milk, you can't use the word chicken, you can't use the word meat. So you guys are already facing such stuff. Like, what do you expect? Like,
see, it's a matter of survival, right? So companies will do whatever they can to survive, right? If they see another sector or another alternative coming in a way to uproot them or to replace them, they will do everything in their capacity to fight back.
Right.
Correct? So there are two ways of doing it. One is you say, okay, I will not let you do this, so I will create hurdles. I will ensure, I will lobby with the government and whoever powers that be to ensure that the taxes are high on you. You don't get any subsidies. I will not allow my, let's say, have issues, as you mentioned, around the nomenclature. A milk alternative cannot be called milk, a butter alternative cannot be called butter, and so on. And same meat alternative cannot be called meat. And that is, of course, happening now with the dairy in India, and it is happening with meat alternatives in the West, US and Europe. So because they're vested interest, and that is natural to expect that they will fight back. The other alternative is, but as I mentioned, we are quite certain that the move towards more sustainable, more healthier, and more innovative alternatives to meat or dairy is inevitable. It is coming, right? The companies can fight as hard as they want, but the movement is already started. And why it is started? Because there are organic reasons behind it, right? Ultimately, it will come down to the thing of cost.
Right.
And with greater volume, costs are already increasing. With greater efficiencies in our own production systems, our costs are reducing, and we are transferring those advantages to the customers.
Right.
So once the economic thing shifts, there will be a faster turnaround. And so it's with respect to meat also, we expect the same fight to be coming in.
Right.
The other point, it sort of slipped my mind, is there are lots of companies who can who are also meat companies who are calling now themselves protein companies. They are making a switch themselves.
Okay.
Right. For example, you've got Tyson, one of the biggest meat manufacturers.
The biggest probably.
Yeah, probably. They are they are making an active shift and calling themselves a protein company.
Okay.
Right. So they are positioning themselves so that they can also be part of this new infrastructure.
Plant-based proteins as well. Okay.
And in fact, many large companies are having their plant-based meat alternatives. Right now in India, Tatas have entered, ITC has entered. Licious, in fact, the high-end meat company.
Yep.
Licious has just launched a meat alternative brand of their own.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, it's called Uncrave.
Okay, they recently also made a post mocking vegans on Instagram, but I don't get it. The guys who are handling the Instagram pages, I guess, need to be aware of that. So
Licious, I think you can go on their app. It's probably already launched. Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
So it's move. It's you either flow with it or you fight, and so they might be doing both the games, right? They will have one foot in this new boat while ensuring that the other boat doesn't capsize fully, so they'll try to keep it alive as long as possible. If they will go where the money is. If there's more money, and Beyond Meat has shown with their incredible IPO that there's a lot of money to be made here.
Okay, another question I definitely want to touch upon is, do you get backlash from people, even vegans, saying that you serve unhealthy junk food? And if yes, how do you respond to that?
Yes, people do say, that, are your products healthy? Aren't they very processed, ultra processed, and what have you? So regarding the process thing, what we say is, what I'd like to ask them, how old is a chicken, right, that you eat? And people generally have no idea. People say 6 months, 8 months,
45 days, I believe, right?
45 days. Yeah. And then I ask them, what's the lifespan of a chicken? A lifespan of chicken is about 8 years or 9 years in the wild. Now, in this 45-day poultry chicken that you have eaten, which poultry chicken, by the way, is about 99% of American chicken consumption, and about 90+% now in India. So now this poultry chicken has grown up to full size, egg to full size in 45 days. That clearly is not natural. And that is a result of people pumping in lots of antibiotics and hormones, growth hormones into the chicken so that it can grow up. Its bones are not ready, its immune system is not ready, and so it's definitely highly, I would say, processed. Then how does a chicken look, if I ask you?
Right.
Most people would, if I ask you, how does a chicken look?
An average person would say a chicken is probably, they wouldn't think of the white color chicken. They think of chickens that I think more so like orange and brown.
Orange and black and brown, right?
Desi.
Indian chicken, regular chicken. But of course, the chicken that you consume is white.
Yes.
Right? So that clearly, again, is not what you would have in mind. Okay. So when it comes to processing, there are lots of things that are highly processed, highly and really, really bad for you. In our case, yes, of course, it's processed, right? Because we take pea protein or soy protein, wheat protein, oats, quinoa, what have you. We take it to a temperature and pressure and, extend it out so that we can get layers of these proteins that gives you the bite. So, of course, that's a process. But is it bad for you? No. Right? Because we don't have any preservatives in this product, right?
Oh, is that so?
Yeah, our products have no preservatives.
Okay, I did not know that.
Even though they are shelf stable, we have developed technology where we don't have to add any preservatives to these things.
Okay.
Right? Of course, there's no antibiotics, there's no hormones. So I would claim that this is a much better alternative for you than the meat that you're eating. Right? Of course, the US Cancer Association says red meat as a carcinogen.
Carcinogen, yes.
Right? So you know that you will get cancer if you continue to eat red meat.
Right.
Why would you continue doing that? And when it comes to, let's say, nutrition, right, our products have comparable protein as chicken or mutton. And of course, chicken and mutton have zero fiber.
Right.
We know that fiber is very important for your gut health.
Yes.
Gut health we know is very important for your overall health,
right,
including your mental health. And our products have more fiber than broccoli.
Okay.
Have actually more fiber than broccoli. So in terms of macronutrients, etc., it is again a very healthier alternative.
Zero cholesterol.
Zero cholesterol. That's a good point.
Yeah, because animal products are loaded with cholesterol.
Loaded with cholesterol, and because it's plant-based, it's naturally zero cholesterol. And we know how harmful cholesterol is.
Yes.
So in every which way, this is a better alternative than chicken. Now, people will say, it is the healthiest option. I'll say no. If you have to eat the healthiest option, eat raw, organic, plant-based diet, locally sourced, etc. Right? If you can.
Right.
Correct. But not all of us can do that. Nor can we continue doing that as well. If you are eating a meat, animal meat, this is a much better alternative.
I think always when we ask the question is something healthy, we have to ask in relation to what.
Exactly.
Because again, like you said, if someone is saying, well, raw fruits and vegetables are healthier than Guddu, well, they're also healthier than chicken or mutton.
Correct.
But is GoodDot products healthier than chicken or mutton? The answer is definitely yes.
100%.
100%. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I see that you have a button on your website that says the true cost of meat. It literally displays the live count of animals being killed by the second as we scroll through the page. My question is, since you are a business entity, have you ever had second thoughts about openly speaking up against animal cruelty? Like, wouldn't that put off certain customers?
I'm sure it does put off certain customers, right? But you have to stand up for what you believe in, right? For us, GoodDot, as I mentioned earlier, GoodDot, the soul of GoodDot is with the animals, right? So we owe it to them. And we need to educate the customers, the people who visit our website, and in whichever way we can, that there is a lot of cruelty happening there, and we have it in us to help reduce that cruelty. We can be that one chicken dish that you avoid for one day saves an animal. You can be a superhero, you can be an angel for that animal who actually would have died for that plate of chili chicken or whatever you may have consumed or you may have wanted to consume. And it's that feeling of goodness also, because lots of people feel good when you do something good. Right?
True.
People do realize that when I'm not eating meat and substituting with something else, it's a good act, kind act.
But this is also quite, I would say, not very common, because it takes guts for the reason a business exists is to earn money. That is the primary reason. But the fact that a business also wants to openly take up an ethical cost, that is something that has been normalized by. It's not like. Look, I'm not trying to knock on any other rights, but right now speaking up in 2022 for women's rights is not as difficult as speaking up 300 years ago. Right?
Sure.
So if you were to speak up for the LGBT community right now it's easier than say 50 years ago.
Sure.
But speaking up for animals now is the equivalent of what freedom fighters did 500 years ago, right?
Sure.
So the fact that you as a company, as a business, still want to stand in solidarity with the animals is something I must say is truly impressive, because not many companies, vegan or non-vegans, will be willing to do such a risk.
Sure.
I truly applaud you guys for that.
And see, we also believe that people also stand up for causes, right?
That's true.
So I'm sure there are lots of people who see those and they feel like you that, oh, that's a wonderful thing that these guys are doing. They're standing up. So you weigh out these pros and cons, but for us, the purpose defines what we do, who we are.
Right.
And so that has to be, front and center.
Awesome. So next one is, where do you think India will stand 5 years from now or even 10 years from now when it comes to plant-based revolution?
I I think like in lots of other sectors, we will be world leaders. See,
Awesome.
we will
Can't
be world
wait.
leaders.
Can't wait.
There's no denying the fact. See, we've got the skill set, we've got the now capital is coming in, right? And we've got a support, in general support around manufacturing for this sector. I'm sure there will be a groundswell and support from the government and other agencies also over time. So it is just a matter of time, and India will not be producing only for itself, but we will be producing for the world.
Wow.
In fact, we are already exporting across 7 countries.
Which ones?
So we are in Singapore.
Okay.
We've got in Oman,
Okay.
UAE,
Okay.
South Africa, Mauritius, Canada, and now Australia. We actually are in discussions with people in companies in other countries for the right partners, and there'll be a lot more, I think, news that will be coming in the next year for several of our new
Looking
partnerships.
for the thing. One thing I told you guys, like I always admire about GoodDot is that you guys don't stop, do you? It's like most people, they aim for something, they achieve it, and then they're like, we achieved it. No, now what's the next one? What's the next thing we'll do? Next thing. It's like you guys are constantly innovating, be it like now trying to expand, or when it comes to the amount of products you guys put out there. Like I have not seen any other company in this plant-based space putting out so many innovative products non-stop, and each one like tops the one behind it. Like it's absolutely incredible, I have to say.
Thanks, Arvind.
And my final question is, can you share any unique or interesting feedback from a non-vegan who has tasted your food? Like what is the most unique feedback you had ever received from someone?
Most unique feedback. So we had this. So I would not be able to pinpoint one unique thing, but again, the theme that is that comes out very often is people coming with a lot of skepticism.
Right.
A lot of skepticism. Ki, I've eaten mock meat in Southeast Asia. I've tried this. I've tried that, and I don't. I'm a hardcore meat eater. I'm not. This is not for me. That's the most common thing that lots of meat eaters come and say, I'm a hardcore non-veg eater, and this is not for me. And then they try it, and then their eyes pop. And that's for us is the best feeling ever, and that is a very common trend. It's so that's extremely unique, and there are people who've told ki there was no way. There was someone from America, I think, who was visiting, and he said, I could never consider reducing meat, but after having tried this, I can actually consider turning vegan or looking at that option.
Wow, that is something big. Like, I mean, when you talk about the eyes lighting up, like I'm sure my audience has seen that many times when I eat, like it does light up. It's like I take a bite and it's like, I tell you, the brain is confused. It is just, and I mean that in the most positive way possible. It's like, is this happening? I thought we decided not to eat this stuff. Why are we eating this? I was like, no, it's not that. It's like the brain is talking to itself.
Sure.
It is so excited, and like, all I can say is to you guys, like, first of all, is thank you so much for your time. I know you're such a busy person. Thanks for taking your time out for this interview. I'm sure the audience watching this surely enjoyed this, learned a lot, and yeah, like all the best to you guys. As I told you in the beginning,
so much,
you are talking to a big fan. Like I am not just who happen to be a vegan. No, I am a very big fan of GoodDot. Even if I were a non-vegan from 8 years ago when I had eaten this stuff, I would have fallen in love with it. Like
wonderful.
You guys truly are, I would say right now, the leaders in India of this moment. That's how I see it. So
thank you so
all
much.
the best to all of you people at GoodDot. You guys are absolutely incredible. And please, everyone watching, vegan or not vegan, try out the GoodDot products near you, or also please visit our Guddu stall. Check out online on the website where you can find them and try their food. It is mind-blowingly, mind-numbingly good. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, put your comments in the comment section, and I'll see you guys next time, guys. Bye.